Hey everybody, here is a video about how I do my everyday makeup. So I'm going to be showing you how I do my super quick everyday makeup routine for my eyes, my lips, and my face. If you want to look dewy, even though your skin's super dry and you don't want to emphasize all the texture and you're in a hurry to get out the door, here is a good makeup look for you. So the first thing that I'm going to do is my eyebrows, and I'm going to comb them up. And I always try to comb my sprouts, these little parts at the front, up as much as I can because I like my eyebrows to look really fluffy. And for my eyebrows, I use eyeshadow, which is kind of weird, but I think a lot of people do that. But I use the Tartelette In Bloom palette, which is cruelty free but isn't completely vegan because these red shades here use carmine, which is made from bugs, so it's not technically a vegan product. It is cruelty free though, but I just use this shade here, this light brown shade called Jet Setter. I don't recommend buying this product because it isn't vegan. I've had it for like forever though, before I was vegan and stuff, but you can pretty much just use any brown eyeshadow that matches your hair color. For the brush, I'm going to be using this small little angled brush with a spoolie on the bottom. I'm just gonna put a little bit on the brush and then go for it. And I know people always say like eyebrows are sisters, not twins. My eyebrows are barely related, so just kind of bear with me on that. And I prefer my eyebrows to be like really natural looking, so I just kind of follow the natural shape and try to be like as wispy as I can with the brush so that it doesn't look too harsh or drawn on. And I'm putting barely any product up near my sprouts because I like it to be a little bit lighter up there. Put a little bit of extra product right here on my little corner because it's kind of bald right there. And then I'm going to comb it with the spoolie again just to make sure I didn't miss any spots. Okay, so I need a little bit more down at the bottom. All right, so we're gonna call that good for eyebrow number 1, and I'm gonna move on to eyebrow number 2, which will hopefully look as close as I can get it. Right, and now that I've filled them in as much as I want them to, I'm gonna set them with hairspray. A lot of people use brow gel, but I have tried like a billion brow gels and none of them keep my hairs in place because my eyebrow hairs are kind of crazy and they have a mind of their own. So what I do instead is I use hairspray, and this is the Aveda Air Control hairspray. It is vegan and cruelty free, of course. And I'm just gonna spray that on my spoolie, on all sides of the spoolie. And then I am going to just comb it through. I start with the sprouts because I really want those to stick right up. And I kind of go really slow on the sprouts and really hold them up so that they stay. And the eyebrow hairs become a little bit more malleable once the hairspray has started to dry a little bit, because then they become like easier to texture. All right, and honestly, my eyebrows with this hairspray will stay in the exact same position pretty much all day. The hairspray seriously is like magic. I love it. It's the only thing that will keep my eyebrows in place consistently. And now that I'm done with the eyebrows, I'm gonna do my eyes. Because this is just my everyday makeup, I'm usually doing it in a hurry or like I'm feeling kind of lazy. I'm just doing this as like my super quick makeup routine. So I'll just be using the Nude Sticks Magnetic Matte Eye Color Pencil. This looks like that. In the shade Putty. It's just a cream like eyeshadow color pencil. It's the best I can describe it, I guess. But I've noticed that if I put on too much of this, it can make my eyelids feel kind of sticky and it will like gather in the crease. So I put on just like a really thin layer of this. I'm gonna start with this eye. And I put it into the crease and onto the lid. And then I just kind of blend it out with my finger. And this doesn't add a ton of color because it's actually pretty close to my skin tone, but it helps so that you can't see these veins on my eyelids so much, and it adds a little bit of depth to my eyes, which I like. Okay, and I'm done with the top of my lids. I'm gonna put a little bit under my eye too, but I need to do my concealer before I do that so that I don't cover it up when I do concealer. So I'm going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I use the shade 8B Porcelain Beige. This one is also cruelty-free and vegan. Let it be noted though that a lot of these companies, although they are cruelty-free and vegan, they're owned by parent companies that aren't completely cruelty-free, and they do have products that aren't vegan. They're not completely vegan companies. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you're someone that won't buy from companies that are owned by not cruelty-free parent companies. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little bit right there in the corner of my eye. I try not to do too much concealer because for some reason everything I put on my skin looks cakey if I do a lot of it. So, and I'm gonna blend it with my beauty blender. I use my beauty blender dry just because I feel like it looks better. And I put it on and blend one eye at a time because I noticed that it dries down pretty quick. I just kind of stipple with my beauty blender, blend it out the best that I can, and I usually take the corner. All right, she's blended. So now that I've got my concealer on, I'm gonna put a little bit more of the Nude Sticks eye pencil underneath my eye because it'll create more depth. And again, I'll just blend it with my finger. Now we've got that part done, and I'm going to curl my eyelashes before I put my mascara on. It's my least favorite part of doing my makeup. Okay, and now for mascara, I'm going to be using I just realized I don't know how to pronounce this. This brand. This product is also vegan and cruelty-free. I only buy like little ones like this, or I get samples of them, because I find that mascara, when I buy a full-size one, the product dries out before I even finish using it. So it's just easier for me to buy little ones because I feel like I actually get more bang for my buck that way. And I like to use a more fluffy mascara wand because I find that that creates more volume for me, and that is definitely what I'm lacking in my eyelashes. All right, mascara on my top lashes is done. Zoom in so you can see that better. And now I'm gonna put a little bit on my bottom lashes. I always do that because it makes my eyes look more round in my opinion, which is a look that I like, so. And I'm really trying not to get mascara on my skin. But in case I do get some mascara on my skin down there, I have Q-tips ready to go. And I got mascara on my skin. There we go, all good. And now that we're done with my eyes and eyebrows, it's time to start the skin, which is honestly my favorite part because I just think it's the most fun. And for my foundation, I'm gonna be using the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. It has niacinamide, squalane, and hyaluronic acid in it, which I don't really care about, but it is really, really moisturizing. And I have dry skin, so it works really well not to show a ton of my texture. Also vegan and cruelty-free, of course. And I'm gonna shake it. But yeah, this foundation makes me look really glowy, which is nice. And I'm gonna use my beauty blender again. I'm gonna bring it down onto my neck. The shade that I'm using in this one is ST3 Balos, which isn't the lightest shade, which is crazy to me because I'm the lightest shade in almost every foundation I've ever tried. But in this one, I'm the third lightest shade, which is crazy. So if you're super pale like I am, this brand has got you covered when it comes to foundation. And I never put very much on my forehead because, as you can see, I've got like expression wrinkles. If I put like a thick layer of foundation on my forehead, it always settles into those wrinkles and makes them look a lot worse than they are. So I put either none or I just put like a really thin layer on my forehead. Right, and now I'm gonna put another syringe dropper full on my other cheek. Stripping. There we go. And this is like a really lightweight, thin foundation. It is by no means full coverage, but honestly, I feel like it covers like my red discoloration on my cheeks and like my acne marks pretty well. And a lot of foundations that promise to be like dewy skin almost never are. This product really delivers. Okay, so now that I've got my base, my foundation, I don't use contour or anything like that in my everyday makeup. That's really only for like special occasions for me. But I do always wear blush because I'm so pale. I kind of look dead if I don't. And for blush, I use a cream blush by Tower 28, which is a brand that I recently discovered but really like so far. I'm using the Beach Please Magic Hour. It's cruelty-free and vegan, of course. I think this one is for cheeks and lips. I usually only use it for my cheeks though. I apply my cream blush with a brush, and I'm using this blush brush. I don't know what brand this is, and I don't know where it came from. Most of the brushes I've had for like forever. I've like never replaced my brushes, or I get them from Ipsy because I have an Ipsy subscription and they send me brushes a lot. So they're all just like random, but I'm just gonna tap my brush on it, and then there will be quite a bit of product on this, so I usually tap it on my leg a few times before I put it on my face because I don't want it to be like really intense. And I use a cream blush just because for me, I feel like it looks more natural because it just kind of blends with my foundation really well instead of looking like streaky or like dry. And I'm putting it just in the middle of my cheek, and then I do bring it up kind of like I'm using it as contour almost, but more focused right here. And it's usually a little bit intense because it is just such a dark color and I'm so pale. So I usually take my beauty blender again and kind of blend the edges out with that. Okay, and then I don't want to look greasy. So after that, I take my Milk Makeup Blur Plus Set Matte Loose Setting Powder, translucent. I use the shade Translucent Light because it's the lightest shade I have and I'm very pale. And then I'm just going to be taking, again, I have no idea where this brush came from or what the brand is, but it's just like a wide powder foundation brush. I'm going to tap it in once and then blow it off because I don't like a ton of it. And I'm going to put it just like under my eyes on both sides, and then on my chin, a little on my forehead. And I'm just using the same one tap in there the whole time because I don't want a ton of powder because my skin's dry and I don't want to emphasize any of my texture. Go over my red nose with a little bit more foundation on my beauty blender. And now that I've done that, I'm gonna go in with my little Freck. It's just like a little freckle product, also vegan, cruelty free. I really love this brand. It's the best freckle product I've ever used, honestly. And I'm just gonna put a few of these little dots. Sometimes I do this before I put on powder. Sometimes I put it on after I do on powder. Sometimes I put it on after I do my powder. It kind of just depends on when I remember that I'm gonna do freckles. Great, and I just tap these because I don't want them to look too intense like that. And then I move the taps around and put some on the other side with my finger. Just making them look a bit more natural. All right, and then I'm gonna put a few dots on this side too. And then I'm gonna put some on the bridge of my nose. All right, and then I let it dry for like a few seconds before I start tapping. And then I usually take my beauty blender, tap over them a little bit just to again, make them look a little bit more natural. Now, one of the final steps that I do is I use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This is like a miracle product for me because it doesn't make me look too matte, but it really like helps the appearance of my foundation look more smooth and even, and it keeps it in place for a really long time. Normally I do my hair after my makeup, but today I did it before because I knew I was gonna be filming. We wait for that to dry. Okay, and then while I'm waiting for this to kind of dry down a bit, usually putting on my foundation and stuff will make my lips look really pale or non-existent. So I'm gonna put on some of the Tarte Jelly Glaze. This is just a sample size because I got it in Ipsy, but I'll probably be buying the full product once I'm out of this. It is vegan and cruelty free. It says it's an anytime lip mask. So it's like a really hydrating lip gloss, and I find that even though it like goes on as a really bright pink, it looks pretty natural on my lips. It just adds that little bit of color so that they don't look so non-existent. I put on a tiny bit of lip liner first. You can pretty much just use any lip liner that looks close enough to your natural color. And now I'm gonna put on the Jelly Glaze, which looks like a super bright pink, but once I blend it around with the lip liner, it's not gonna look so intense. All right, this is my everyday makeup look. This is usually what I'll wear if I'm like going to work or I'm going to go hang out with friends and I'm in a hurry or anything like that. Sometimes I even will do this whole look in the car if I'm in a rush somewhere and I'm not driving, obviously. But yeah, so here it is. It's all vegan and cruelty free other than the Tarte lip palette, so don't use that one. Highly recommend all of these products. I've tried lots of products before I landed on this set. So yeah, this was my everyday makeup look. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. So yeah, bye.